Hey guys, so I'm sure you've noticed that I haven't been posting very much in the Inktober thing and challenge, I should say. And the reason for that is because real life and other commitments came up. I have I do commissions every now and then, and I have a few of them that I've been putting off, and the people have been reaching out to me and say, hey, we kind of sent you money already. Well, how's it coming along? And I go, oh, it's coming along just fine, but then I had to get back to work. So yeah, my time had been occupied, so I had to manage. So once I got done with all that, then the Halloween stuff started up, and you know that Halloween tends to take up its own time. So once that was all taken care of, here I am. I'm on like the second day of November, and I'm finally posting and editing all the Inktober. I actually had to catch up on everything. So what I ended up doing is I ended up drawing all the pictures, and I just drew them all out, and that took me almost a day to do. And then when I say like done, I think I'm talking about maybe half the month worth of drawings. Let me just look at the list here. Okay, I was just yeah, no, bottle. That's like the 18th. That was the 18th of October. So then we still had to go up to 31. That's about, well over 10 drawings. So I had to come up with an idea and then do all the drawings within within this time frame. So I had to do all that to try and catch up. So I actually spent my a good portion of my day yesterday just inking. I had to do all the drawings in advance, so like last of October was pretty busy. So yeah, but I caught up. I did it all on the day that I'm editing and putting this video up. This is the last thing that I did. This is the last part of my day. And I didn't. And the sad thing is, I didn't even finish all my commissions. I still have other commissions to do, but I made time to finish this up to help the to do the challenge. Because last year I had the exact same problem. I had people saying, "Hey, how come this thing isn't done?" And I had to, you know, prioritize. But then I never got around to finishing up the rest of it. But this time around, I spent the money to make the special paper to actually do the drawings on. So I figured, you know what? I've already put the money in. I already have the paper ready to go. I should just, finish it. Don't, and that sometimes is a problem, committing to commitments. Because sometimes, things come up or other situations happen. You have to manage your time. And the thing is with Inktober is that I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this as a challenge to myself. I'm not making any money off of this. So, and if you're trying to be an artist and actually, make money at it, sometimes you have to manage your time and figure out what takes priority. And definitely, I don't get jobs very often, so I have to prioritize, and I prioritized where I what I could. So catching up is the hard part. That and then of course you have to apply out a social life, and I do streams every now and then with other people, and so I have to prioritize that as well. So yeah, yeah. It all comes out sounding like excuses, and to some extent you're right, but I need to do something. So yeah. Now to the ideas. So this one on screen right now is expensive. Well, I went with a prostitute. I I don't know why I went to that. I think I could have done a number of things, but I don't know. I think while doing this and while catching up, other people had already done theirs, had already done their ideas. So I could actually go onto Twitter, type in Inktober, and type in the day and see what other people made, and then compare from there. And think, wow, that's a good idea. Well, that's a good idea. So that's the one advantage of doing this late is that I could just look at what other people made and use that as a reference. I don't recall seeing anything in this regard, so I thought, hey, I'll be different. I'll just do something that no one else did. I'll do a really expensive prostitute. And then there was the matter of like, how do you draw that, and then how do you convey that? I tried to make it as obvious as possible, and that's the idea. I could have been subtle about it, just draw, like, maybe draw a woman in a sitting in a fairly expensive chair, smoking a cigarette, or wearing something. But I thought, I'll just make it go a little too obvious. Was the idea. Oh, next off, we're on to Muddy. This one I struggled with, but then I realized, well, this is Halloween. This is October. Why not just go in the most obvious horror themed and actually put a zombie coming out of the grave? Um, the one other thing about this that I struggled with, because I actually wanted to make it rainy. But then I decided against it just because I thought, well, I mean, I've conveyed the enough information. I don't really have to go that way. I don't have to draw rain or any other particles. I think what I've done so far speaks for itself, and that there's no need to go that extra mile. I could have though. Um, Come to think of it, I've done nothing involving rain so far, so I mean, it was an option. But yeah, like I said, I think all was done when I did this. So I think that was pretty okay. This, oh, whoa, it's Chop. Hiya. This one was probably the silliest one of them all, and probably the one I had the most fun doing, just because it was so silly. I was trying to think how to make it even sillier with the popping eyes and the overextended face. The just, I'm, I'm laughing at my own drawing here. I'm just looking at it. It's so silly. My only big debate is should I just make it like a pudgy guy, like maybe a karate dad or something like that. I just thought, nah, just someone who's really intense, really into it. This will make all the Sonic fans happy. Believe it or not, I go to a lot of conventions and I do sell prints here and there. I do get the odd people asking me, can I, will I ever do a Sonic print? This is probably the closest I've ever gotten. See, I like Sonic the Hedgehog. I do. I think the games are fabulous. And I actually grew up with the Archie comics, the one that inspired a lot of people and the furry fan. Well, I shouldn't say furry fan. Well, it could be furry fandom, actually. I never really stopped to think about it. But yeah, the Sonic fandom, it's its own beast. So I thought, well, I do prickly, and that was the theme. And the hedgehog's fairly prickly. I actually used to have a pet hedgehog. Unfriendly little prick. So yeah, they're a little they're a little like don't touch me. So yeah, that was what I thought. Oh, this one was just super easy. This one was just fun. Mr. Fantastic for Stretch. I could have done Stretch Armstrong. I could have done something new and maybe done the new Miss Marvel. But no, no. I might as well go with a good oldie but goodie, Mr. Fantastic, which I hope the new Fantastic Four movie is phenomenal. I've been looking forward to a fan. It's not that I'm a huge Fantastic Four fan, but I'm enough of a fan that I am looking forward to a new movie. So here's hoping. But yeah, it was super simple. I didn't actually add too much to it. I could have, but I decided against it. Oh, this one. This one was the one I was looking forward to. Thor, Thunder. It was the most obvious one. And I've seen lots of pictures done of Thor where the lightning is just out there and just hitting out there, and then just this cool little jig jaggedy effects of the lightning bolts. And this one was just a lot of fun. I unfortunately with this, and you'll notice that there's a trend in the future drawings that you're gonna see. You could tell I was getting tired. I was marathoning all these inkings. I did all this whole video was done within a day. This was yesterday actually. They were all finished, and I'm starting to get tired. And as a drawing itself, I loved it. I loved how the drawing came out, but my inking skills were starting to get a bit lazy, starting to get a bit lax. And I think I'd like to do this again. Maybe for my own fun, maybe just to try it out and see if I can do Thor with a little bit more energy, not the like I'm ready to fall asleep kind of situation. But after this, I had like a cup of coffee, and I just kept going with it. Which I mean, like I kept to it. I can at least say that. But man, I don't know. This is about as bad as a 24-hour comic challenge. And if you don't know what that is, it's like sometimes my local comic shop sets up this event where you can come in, you spend 24 hours, and you make a comic within 24 hours. Do a page within an hour. That's the 24-hour comic challenge, and that is a challenge, a marathon for artists. And creativity starts to leave you. You just start getting tired and exhausted, and all creativity tends to drain from you. You just don't feel the need to keep going or to produce something good. And I think part of my problem with that is I'm not a writer, I'm an artist. So it's a little hard to be creative in that sense. And with that said, now we moved on to Gift, which is what I did Star Lord and his little cassette. The one that everyone's come back and wanted a Walkman thanks to Guardians of the Galaxy. I loved it. This is another one I felt bad for because I actually had a lot of fun drawing it, but you guys can't see it. But when I get to the face, there's all these details, and they're just not lining up. They're not there. They're not really appropriately done, and that is quite literally done to my fatigue. Um, it came out okay, but I know I could do better, and that's the part that really bothers you. And I'm being probably a bit too hard on myself because this is a just a drawing. I shouldn't be so hard on myself, but I was. Um, I can't help it. I keep blaming it on the exhaustion, but really I wouldn't have been in this state if I kept going. But you know, it is what it is. I tried to fix it up, but yeah, yeah. Oh, double. Okay, this one I took a break. I my back was killing me, so I stopped. I laid down for a little bit, and then I got up and had a cup of coffee. That rest really improved. I think this one came out a lot better uh, than it would have had I kept going. Granted, I think I needed the hand didn't come out all that well, but I think everything else was all right. This one was double. And I mean, I could have done like twins or something. I thought, let's tell a story. And that's the other reason when drawing some of these pictures is that I try to say, like, can I tell a story in one page? And here, I think I did. There's like some sort of a magic mirror, an evil double. Someone is wearing something very fancy, fancy little black dress. It could be, it's a little too sexy for a funeral, but just right for a party. Oh boy, this one, little Frankenstein. This one, this is also when I think my markers were starting to, or my pens were starting to go out, doing all the lightning and all the black. I wanted to use lots of black because I wanted to give the idea, to give the impression that the light's coming from these lightning bolts going into Frankenstein's neck. Um, this was very much a like lots of black, but I tried to make it work, and I think I did a fairly good job with that. But yeah, my markers were having trouble keeping up. They were running out. They were dying on me. But yeah. Oh, and then there's the brush pen. That's the other thing. I only have one brush pen, and I've only used it for pretty much two drawings. This one and the muddy drawing. That's the other thing I didn't say. Muddy or mud. Uh, that one was all done with my brush pen. I did use the other markers, but brushes are something I have very few experience with. So that's another one. And here we are to the last one, the Devil Man. I was actually on the phone with a friend, and she was telling me how doing Slice, you should do Devil Man, and she just finished watching the Netflix series Devil Man Crybaby, which I didn't actually care for. I didn't mind the beginning half and the middle, but towards the end I was done. I mean, everyone I cared for. Spoiler alert for Devil Man Crybaby. Everyone I cared for died. All right, and when they died, I immediately lost interest. And at that point I was just waiting for the show to finish. The only other person I cared for was the main protagonist, and even that wasn't enough to keep my interest. But yeah, that's it. That's the last drawing. Well, thanks for watching. Sorry I'm so late, but take care. Thanks. Bye.